Sup, everybody? Nathan Parada here. I'm with Chair of the Libertarian Party of Nebraska, Mike Kniebel, and fellow host of the show.
Yeah, host of Roads. We're doing another mashup. I think we're calling this one the RTB podcast, Roads to Burgers.
The Roads to Burgers podcast.
Roads to Liberty presents The Guardians of Liberty with your hosts, Nathan Parada and Zach Taylor.
I need some runs up.
No, you don't.
No, let's stop. I guess if everybody's changing their burgers and their pancakes around, we're RTB. That's what we're calling this one, right?
I guess so. Why the heck not? You can't see him, but Zach is off camera right now. He's playing the producer role today. This is it's something I think we're going to be playing around with going forward.
Yeah, I think kind of mixing up the hosting abilities a little bit. Ben's pretty busy with city council and trying to create his own little fiefdom over there in Gehring at the moment. So
I wish him luck for that.
Yeah, I miss the guy, but I think this is past his bedtime right now. So we're doing a podcast. I'm excited to sit with you, Nathan, and discuss local stuff, discuss global stuff. Talk a little bit about why you hate women again.
Oh my goodness, the women's.
So you are a white supremacist.
I've been called that.
One of the few Puerto Rican white supremacists that you'll ever meet.
Well, just like what's that show? What is it, The Boondocks? Where you had the black white supremacists. It's kind of like that, I guess.
Okay.
I can't remember the character's name. But yeah, so like that.
Praise the white God.
So we'll be.
Oh, don't forget Nazi sympathizer.
Oh yeah, Nazi sympathizer too. Okay, well it's going to be a lot of interesting things. I know that one of the first things we want to do is get a little bit serious because we've got a busy summer coming up, and I'm going to put on my official chair hat at the moment and say that here in Nebraska we've got quite a bit of fairs going on. We got signed up for the Sarpy County Fair, Riverfest. We got some 4th of July stuff going on. You know the calendar's a little bit better here, Nathan. What kind of stuff are you really wanting to plug in?
Well, I know there is a parade on June 30th for Senator Epke. The event page is, I believe, on her Facebook page.
The Reelect page, yes, it is.
Yes, the Reelect page. Can't remember outright where that one's at, but there's 2 4th of July parades also for her, and then come August during the Sarpy County Fair, I believe that's August 15th.
All right,
we got a parade that weekend here locally in Sarpy County. So if you want to be in a parade, Sarpy County, we're going to be here.
So we're going to be heading down to Friend, Nebraska then on the 4th. Is that where we're going down? Or
I believe so.
Okay, because there's also one in Geneva. Right?
There's two on the 4th.
Yeah.
So
busy day, and then Sarpy County Fair is,
I believe, August 15th.
Okay. No, it's not. It's the first weekend of August. You know how I know? Everything is happening that weekend.
Yes.
So I will be working the Sarpy County Fair, but if any of you out there would love to come down and help out, it'd be great because I'm going to be taking some time off as the resident old man and hitting up my 20-year high school reunion that weekend.
Okay.
So you kids don't quite understand that yet.
No.
You haven't reached that.
Well, plus we were both homeschooled, so what the hell do we know about reunions?
So your reunions are anytime you go home to see the parents, basically. Is what you're telling me?
Essentially.
That means my teachers did.
Oh wow.
That's sad. Way to bring the whole bring us all down.
This is why we have you as producer, and not actually on camera, I guess.
Yeah, push you off to the side. Zach was telling everybody that he thinks he's too ugly to be on camera, and we all just kind of agreed with him, so we kicked him off the camera.
I've seen some of the people that they allow on these podcasts here, so it's
a regular rotation of degenerates.
If you know who could strip naked at the LNC, then I should be able to be on a podcast.
All right, so I'm just going to lay this out here right now.
Let's go off on a tangent.
No, I'm not going to go off on a tangent because everybody within the little echo chambers within the Libertarian Party has been seeing everything going on with, the LNC chairs race, the Libertarian Socialist, all of these other groups, and honestly, I'm just sick of it. All right, look, I've already made my endorsement for Josh Smith. I'm not going to be bad-mouthing.
Nazi.
Clearly, yes, with no proof whatsoever.
This half Israeli dude is clearly a white supremacist and a Nazi.
Yeah, it's like when I listen to Dave Smith or some of these other podcasters that get called alt-right. They're like, I'm Jewish. What? Why would I be? How?
Because they don't know what alt-right is.
No,
they just don't. Anything that's to the right of some threshold that they've arbitrarily set is alt-right.
Yeah, anything to the right of Bernie Sanders is alt-right now. But no, let's not talk about the LNC race. It's going to happen in New Orleans. We've got less than a month now.
I wasn't even talking about the race. You're just so angry that you're getting mad.
I am so I'm angry because of some of the people I've been seeing post stuff on there. Like,
we're going to name names?
No, we're not going to name names. We're not going to name names because I'm not going to give them the time of day for naming their names. But I've tried to clear my social media from them as much as possible because it's like I'm about being inclusive, building a party, getting people elected here. If they want to debate whether or not rent is theft and
it's not,
and how you can somehow be a libertarian and a socialist, it's like I'm a unicorn then if we're just naming off ridiculous things here.
Scott Zimmerman says hashtag opt out.
Yes, exactly, Scott. That's 100% what I'm saying. Opt out. Be positive about this stuff. So I'm not going to rant anymore. I'm not.
But this is so much fun.
I'm
this
not,
is like the kind of thing I love doing.
I'm not going to be. You're the guy that rants. You know what? You know what I want to do? I want to get people elected all across the state. You know what else I want to do is when people say, "Hey, I'm a libertarian in Nebraska," it's like, "Oh, that's cool. How do I get to be that?" Not what is that, or not. Oh, we can do that here? I wasn't aware. That's what I want to do is break down the stigma. So
Do you want to talk about our voter numbers?
We
went up even during
those.
Yeah, I've got them on my drive.
Can you flash them up on the? Well, actually, no.
No, I can't do that, but I can pull them up for you.
So okay.
Well, suffice it to say, numbers for Libertarian Party Nebraska are still going up. I mean, as much as people like to complain about stagnation in the party, whatever the case may be, I remember when I first became a libertarian, nobody knew what the heck a libertarian was. Now it's a household name. People at least know the word libertarian.
So
we went up even though it was primary season. That's a big deal.
So we went up a little bit. Republicans went up a bit from May to June, but that's for the primary, and a lot of people wanted to register as Republican. I think
Democrats still went down.
Democrats went down a little bit. I think we're going to be really pushing this give a name to your independence thing and registering as libertarian. I think we're going to be pushing that hard. I don't see any issue with us getting another 11,000 registered libertarians by 2020. Do you?
No, it's just a matter of doing some hard work and pushing our name out there.
J.D. Porter says Iowa had a 5% increase last month for the Libertarian Party of Iowa. Congratulations on winning your primary, bud.
That is amazing. Yes, congratulations. Actually, congratulations to both of you. I mean,
definitely.
That to me, that's what I want to have here. I want if Nathan and I were running against each other for something,
I would bludgeon you. Chair or no chair, I will take you down.
Just totally trashing me and like writing op-ed pieces against me and everything.
Mike Knievel has never stated that he's not a Nazi. How can we trust this man?
In anything that I come out against you on, just start playing the fact that I hate you because you're Puerto Rican.
Yes. It's like, look at this white man. He hates Puerto Ricans.
Like I just asked what he was doing about a certain issue, and suddenly I'm
suddenly you're a racist, dude. It's horrible. But
I was awesome. That was really cool seeing both of them do that.
I think that there's an ongoing debate that we've been having about the value of primaries.
I think that debate is over.
Yeah, I do think that primaries are a very good way to get voter turnout, to get recognition for your party, and to give people a reason to register Libertarian, because people want to go to their voting place and have options in their primary. They don't want to go and see one name on there.
Right.
So having a primary...
That sucks, doesn't it? Like being proud of what you're doing, and then people say, well, why can't I have more than these two, one or two names on there?
Yeah, people ask, what's the point of being a Libertarian when there's only one name on the ballot and there's no competition for it? Yeah, I get that. That's true. That's true. We're going to be pushing more candidates going into the future.
We got
James Harold
guy right
says,
here.
After we get people registered as Libertarians, how do we get them to show up to the polls? And I think you guys just answered that question. We need more people to vote for.
Well, we need to energize them, and honestly, I think that with Nathan here, with the people that we have got at all facets of the state level, are really energizing folks. I mean, I'm excited. I think there's some fresh points of view. We do this kind of stuff with Zach here, podcast. He's a social media extraordinaire. So it's just, I think we've really got to start energizing people. As far as the amount showing up to vote in the primary, that is a really that is a disappointing number. Right, that is a very disappointing number.
I'm not gonna. I don't know if we want to.
That's a disappointing number right there, but that we still need to break down as far as what happened within the metro area with those numbers. I would say I don't fully know the answer on this one. I think we're still looking at a few different options here.
Well, see, here's the thing, though. I mean, when most people do not show for primaries at all.
But in that race, every one of them should have shown up.
Everyone should have. Yeah.
But I think it would be valuable to remember a lot of people who register Libertarian do so out of protest, not necessarily because they are involved in Libertarian politics. And I'm not making excuses for anyone, but that's often the case.
Do you think now? Do you feel like maybe some people will not vote in a primary because they feel like, oh, well, this race or that race isn't contested. There's only a handful of races, whether or not they're partisan or nonpartisan. You're not going to get a choice in. Now, for Sarpy County and for Bellevue, there were a couple of races for the primary. There was school board, which is why I dropped out, because there was 8 candidates.
Yeah.
But a lot of the other ones,
that happened to Tyler as well.
Yeah, there were a lot of other ones that there was no primary, and there's even a handful that there's no challenger for the general even this year, which is weird that how some primaries were so vast with candidates and others were just they were non-existent. I think we've really got to get people energized, and I will say this: we're launching some plans to get out there to push out new registered voters. We're launching some plans to work with colleges. We've got Trevor, and we've got a couple other people that are going to be working more with YAL so that we can have a foothold at the college campuses, and maybe even set up some internships with high schoolers so that they can get some credits as well and kind of learn the process. But I really see having to get the younger voters in one side. Now, in some of these districts where the median age is 40 or higher, we've got to switch around. We've really got to show them that we focus on those big issues like the property taxes, basically getting government out of their hair when it comes to simple things like code enforcement. This is something I've been hitting on from my city council days. Was when I talked with people and I'm sorry, I know that we still got a whole bunch of other things that we want to talk about. But one of the things what I talked about when running for city council was the code enforcement in Bellevue, here in Sarpy, and a lot of people said that they couldn't even put a simple awning over their front door. They couldn't do simple repairs without a handful of different permits, getting hassled, a lot of time, a lot of money, and they're just look, I'm not going to be installing something that's going to be falling on my own head here. I should be able to make these simple repairs without having, government's hand in my pocket on everything.
Yeah, a lot of the times though, it takes that sort of experience to get people involved in local politics. Most people don't. Most people, they like the glam of presidential politics and congressional politics. And this local city council stuff is kind of ignored. And a lot of times it takes that sort of experience with some government busybody coming into your house telling you what you can and cannot do with your own home before you'll, pay attention to your local city.
Or the school board thing. Remember that whole Purple Penguins thing a few years ago?
My goodness.
So there's a lot of topics I think that we can definitely hit on, and the fiscal ones, the ones where it's just simply this lemonade stand. So Country Time Lemonade, I think, is now the unofficial sponsor for all libertarian events here after this.
I remember this.
We weren't even going to talk about this, but yeah, there have been stories from all over the country over the last couple of years of overzealous police officers shutting down lemonade stands because they didn't have a business permit. And some busybody do-gooder neighbor reported on a bunch of kids selling lemonade. And Country Time Lemonade decided to pay all fees that any of these kids selling lemonade may have and get them permits if they're needed.
So 99.9% of the comments I saw about Country Time, regardless of the political spectrum, were all supportive. I saw one comment out there that said, oh, well, this is just teaching kids that they can just do whatever they want in business and some other corporation will take care of them. Like,
good. That's a lesson that needs to be taught.
I'm not quite sure that's the lesson that they were going for there. But no, this is one of those things that we had talked about with occupational licensing, with just additional regulations and licenses that need to be, stripped away or simplified. I personally, all of them need to be stripped away, but incrementally take those away, make them simpler, make it so government's less involved in these day-to-day businesses.
And we need better police officers, because the very fact that there'd be any police officer out there that'd be willing to shut down a lemonade stand because they didn't have a permit. Stop it.
So
you'd be better.
All right. I'm going to say this from a customer service, from a service industry standpoint. So whatever you get into with whether it's police, to protect and to serve, anytime you are a public servant or anytime you're customer service in just a regular business, yeah, you have your own personal discretion. I mean, with the companies that I've worked with, there you do have some wiggle room on some of the rules and personal discretion. So I agree with you 100%. I don't see how anybody could go up to a child's lemonade stand and say, well, look, here's the rules, but I'm going to have to write this out. I don't see how they couldn't just go, look, here's the rules. We're going to let it pass. Maybe even write them like a fake ticket or something. I don't know.
And not even that. Like when you get the call,
maybe
just tell them that you're busy. I'm busy. I'm busy investigating rapes and murders. I don't have time for this stupid lemonade stand.
There are literally dozens of ways you could handle this that would improve your image and your relationship with the community. The only thing, writing a ticket to a child trying to raise a little bit of money for whatever they want to do, and if they're like my daughter, raise money to give away to other people, the only thing that's going to do is hurt it's going to hurt the relationship with the community. So you're going against the whole idea of serving the community by doing that. So
I guess we should at least be glad that these kids weren't playing with BB guns at the time. So we'll just I guess we'll take that as a symbolic win.
Is this how podcasting with you goes, where we just kind of go off on weird tangents?
Yes. I don't know why you guys were so concerned about topics. I knew once you got going, you just go.
Police officers shutting down lemonade stands are idiots.
Bad.
You're bad. Stop doing it.
Police officers buying lemonade from children's lemonade stands. Good.
Police officers buying lemonade from stands that they were called to shut down and then leaving them alone. Even better.
Even better.
Say, excuse me, officer. There's a kid selling lemonade, and I don't think they have a permit. I'll be right there. You guys there? Hey, I'll have some of that lemonade, and then I'll leave you alone.
And it's like, the people that I've known that have been police officers when I was younger, that's exactly what they would have done. They would have just been like, oh, here, let me buy some of that, and then just gone about their merry way.
Can we address something real quick, though?
What? My fabulous shirt?
Well, I mean, that is a fabulous shirt.
The fact I'm not wearing a Cardinals hat?
Calls the cops on a lemonade stand?
Bad people.
Bad. I mean, look.
How much do you have to hate life?
I am a grumpy old man at times.
Not as grumpy as Ben, though.
Not as grumpy as Ben.
Ben wouldn't even. I mean, Ben would, on principle, not do it. But even if he didn't have principles,
look, I don't get it. I can be a grumpy old man sometimes, but I have no idea who would call on a child's lemonade stand. I don't know what level of Grinch, how tiny your heart has to be to say I'm going. This bothers me. There's children's laughter. We've got to kill that with fire and squelch any of their fun.
Call the cops on them. The cops. Not even go up to their parents. Just call the cops. Like you immediately go from 0 to 100.
You don't even pull like the grumpy neighbor and just put the garden hose on them or something.
Yeah, that would be better than calling the cops. Then they can call the cops on you. Like, hey, this grumpy old man is spraying me with water.
Or when they go in to get more lemonade, you tie it to the back of your truck and then you drive off with the lemonade stand going down the road.
I guess that would work.
I don't know.
I'm such a bad person.
I watched a lot of cartoons. I don't know. I watched a lot of cartoons.
Some Tom and Jerry nonsense going on.
It's a lot of Looney Tunes stuff going on there. I mean, there's a lot of different ways you can tackle.
Maybe we should jump into our first topic on the best president of our adult lives.
The most libertarian president? ?
I mean, there's not a lot of options out there.
It's a very low bar to clear, but I think he might be doing it.
All right, so what we're talking about is Donald Trump meeting with Kim Jong-un in Singapore and then coming to a kind of sort of agreement to denuclearize, I can't say that word, North Korea in exchange for, I guess, a guarantee that we won't kill them.
So we're canceling the war games with South Korea.
Yeah.
We're getting the remains of like POWs and MIA. I mean, people, remains from the Korean War. This is stuff that veterans groups have been trying to get accomplished for decades. And the simple fact that, I mean, if we get denuclearization and somehow or some way down the road, trade opens up with North Korea, and then his people see, what's been happening. Maybe that kind of changes his approach with his people. Maybe it opens up these. Look, the work camps are 100% horrible. No one is disputing that. There are so many things that are wrong about North Korea. You've read Dear Reader. Right?
Dear Reader is a fantastic book.
Yes,
That's a Michael Malice book?
It is, yes. Read it. I read it as well. I highly recommend it because those people are brainwashed over there. That's 100% what that book shows.
So, I've got a quote there.
Okay.
You want to read that for me?
So, what are we reading? It was from the New York Times?
Yes, a former newspaper.
All right. We couldn't get any Occupy Democrat stuff. Mr. Trump, acting more salesman than statesman, used flattery, cajolery, and even a sickly produced promotional video. It was kind of cool. To try to make the North Korean leader, Kim Jong-un, a partner in peace. He also gave Mr. Kim a significant concession. No more military drills between the United States and South Korea, a change that surprised South Korea and the Pentagon. And poor Lindsey Graham, who's not getting his war that he wanted.
John McCain's probably very disappointed as well.
What is a statesman other than a salesman for nations? Like, why is that an insult?
That's how you get the job in the first place. You're a salesman for yourself. That's how you get elected president.
You sell yourself. You sell ideas. That's why.
Well, I mean, you don't really sell ideas today.
In theory,
that's how you're supposed to do it. Now you just sell the fact that the other person's more crooked than you are.
But that's why so many people going into this should read, Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People. Most of life is sales. I mean, whether or not you're actually making a commission on something. Us doing this podcast is selling you on actually listening to this. I mean, everything is sales. And so, a salesman and a statesman in this case are one and the same because they're trying to sell the idea of peace. And quite frankly, look, I've said it before. I
Nope.
I call him out on so much of his of the bad things that he does, but I am not above giving a congratulations for being able to put together for the first time of a president sitting down with a North Korean leader in a neutral country and actually both signing something and saying, yes, let's work towards peace. Let's work towards stop escalating this, and let's maybe open up trade, and at some point easing sanctions. How is this? And I was happy when Obama did this with Castro and with Cuba. How is easing sanctions and opening up trade a bad thing? I don't care if they are a dictator. I don't care if it's Pinochet or whatever. If you are able to start incrementally taking another country towards more liberty, isn't that a good thing?
I would say so. Absolutely.
So while there's a little bit of a smoke screen going on here, because while all this was happening, we also opened up a de facto embassy in Taiwan, and China is really upset at us right now.
So,
and I mean that's just let's focus on the North Korea stuff right now.
They are connected.
Yeah, I realize that. Yeah, because China does not recognize Taiwan as an independent country, even though they de facto are. And we don't have official diplomatic relations with Taiwan, because of that ongoing hostility between the two Chinas. So, opening up an embassy in Taiwan is kind of sticking it in China's eye.
So this is something. This is where I think you'll see where libertarians, where we'd be consistent on this, but that you're seeing the inconsistency with Trump or any of the other old parties is who is happy about opening up a de facto embassy in Taiwan, and what are their differences and feelings about the embassy in Jerusalem? And how? I mean, because look, basically, you're moving into Jerusalem. You got at Israel. You're basically, pushing aside the Palestinians and everything that they want. But at the same time, with China, you've got the main country, but you're siding with the smaller faction with Taiwan here. So how does that even mesh? I mean, outside the libertarian world, because I would say that honestly, open one up in Palestine, open one up in Taiwan, open one up wherever that hell you feel like, and try and work with the other countries. But you've got people that are going to say that this Taiwan thing was bad, and this Jerusalem thing is good, or this Jerusalem thing was bad, and this Taiwan thing is good. But it's the exact same thing, because you're basically capitulating to one side and pushing aside, the other group of individuals.
Well, foreign policy isn't necessarily about having a consistent, principled approach to things. It's all about just picking a side that you think will give you the best deal and going with it. Like the U.S., for better or worse, we picked Israel and we back them no matter what it seems. Like Israel might as well be the 51st state with as much aid we give them and as much deference we give to their point of view over everything else. And Taiwan, I guess Trump wants to stick it to China because he's got a beef with China for whatever reason. And this Taiwan thing from that perspective, I guess, makes sense. I mean, it's not. Don't try to come up with some principled approach to Donald Trump, because you're just going to be disappointed.
You're not going to get that. I mean, you're going to be happy with like one thing he does, and then he's going to turn around and do two things that just completely upset you.
Well, it's not just that. He'll change his mind on the same issue.
Yeah.
Like tariffs.
Like tariffs. Yeah. Like all of a sudden he wants to have no tariffs on anything, which is completely inconsistent because he's been touting tariffs as a way to grow America's economy for years now. And all of a sudden now he's saying, oh, we'll get rid of tariffs if you get rid of tariffs. I'm not waiting. The two don't jive. You were touting tariffs as a way to grow the economy. Now you're saying that you only want tariffs if other countries have tariffs.
Well, and
two inconsistent arguments.
And there. so let's go down this road here. Let's say the other countries, they do get rid of their tariffs, or they significantly lower them because of this move, and then we lower our tariffs, and then boom, suddenly it's a better situation for people spending money in this country. If that happens, I'm going to just be like, well, all right, fine. There's another thing. I don't suffer from Trump derangement syndrome like some people I know. But
yeah, that's kind of the funny thing about this, because I'm already seeing the leftist spin on this North Korea thing. Like, oh, how dare he shake Kim Jong-un's hand? He's an evil dictator. Like, what? Okay, stop there for a minute. All right, if you have to shake an evil dude's hand in order to de-escalate a bad situation and make war less likely and possibly bring about change in North Korea, if you have to shake his hand to accomplish that, then shake his hand.
Well, so they were trying to talk about this with like the appeasement, to compare it to the appeasement with Hitler.
That's straight out of the neocon book. They always say that everybody is Hitler.
Well, they always say that, and they always talk about appeasement, and it's like these people obviously never studied history, because you are just you're a little over a decade removed from the horrors of World War I, and you've got all of this other stuff building up. You've got the Great Depression going on. I mean, you've got countries that are still trying to rebuild here. Of course there's going to be appeasement, because nobody else wants to go through the hell of another global war like that. So yeah, everyone's like, oh, you're just trying to appease and just let them take this and do that. Well, if you put yourself in that position at that time, it makes a hell of a lot of sense. Sorry, I'm going off on like historical nerd here for a moment. You bring out all the rancid.
No, it just frustrates me, because not too long ago, remember, when Trump was being all loudmouth with Kim Jong-un, the left was freaking out about that. Like, how dare you escalate tensions? How dare you bring up this stuff? How dare you bring us to the brink of war? And then all of a sudden he pulled it all back, and it looks like we might actually have a chance for peace. And they're like, how dare you talk to Kim Jong-un? But wasn't it Obama that said he would talk to anybody?
And I was fine with that.
Yeah.
Cuba.
Yeah, Cuba, opening up relations with Cuba.
We shake for that.
The Cuban embargo, there should no longer be a Cuban embargo.
Exactly. And we all, who was it, Nixon that opened up relations with China?
Yeah.
Back in the days of Mao? And he's praised for that now. But all of a sudden, Trump does this. And again, not a fan of Trump. But this is a good thing that he did. It's the thing that he accomplished. And all of a sudden, just because he's Trump, he gets crap for it. And this is a good thing. It might all be BS. It all might just go up in smoke.
That's true.
But for right now, this is a good thing.
Can we just accept that as because trust me, I was one of those people that when he was going, my button's bigger and it works, I was like, dude, stop taunting another country with nuclear weapons. And then Russia's getting it. I was like, I don't want it, because I've just been reading a bunch of stuff about the Cold War. I'm like, stop doing that. But yeah.
Can you find the actual quote on this?
I can't. Unless you want me to really dig. But
okay. All right. Well, speaking of Trump derangement,
and Coolidge was more libertarian than Trump.
Yeah, we were talking about our adult lives, though. Like Coolidge is way before.
Right. As far as any president, I'm. How old are you again?
32.
You had to think about that?
Yes.
Okay. So, am I the only one that actually remembers Reagan?
Yes. Gosh. I hardly remember Clinton, much less freaking Reagan. Whoa.
Well, I mean, come on, though. I mean, you had some of the best movies under Reagan. You had, Red Dawn, Top Gun. Look at all these things. Oh,
man.
But yeah, okay. So in my lifetime, Trump maybe is definitely the craziest president. But we'll give him time here over the next couple of years. May end up being the most libertarian. He may stumble into it. I don't know. That's the thing.
Well, again,
you don't know what's going to happen.
Very low bar to clear there. And I mean, of my lifetime, I only remember Bush and Obama, and he's clearly better than those two for the simple reason that he hasn't started a war. He's continued everyone else's wars, which is bad. Screw you, Trump, for doing that. But he hasn't occupied Syria. He hasn't done that big war, that big regime change. That just I remember when Obama did that in Libya, I'm just like, I hate Obama 100% now. I was looking at him with caution before, but now I just hate his guts.
So you remember, like the first 6 months of Trump's presidency, where he launches all those missiles at Syria, and then he drops the mother of all bombs. Was it in Pakistan? Was that where
it was? In Afghanistan.
Sorry. And you're just thinking, well, all right, for 6 months, that's a hell of a lot of escalation. What's going to be the next thing? But
it didn't really go anywhere after that. It kind of died down.
It didn't. And then this most recent one where there was all these tensions with Russia and like, don't launch anything else because we will attack the source. And he still launches and they don't do anything. You know, I've been listening. I listen to Dan Carlin a lot, and he's kind of at this point where he just goes, I don't know what's happening. I can't explain it anymore. And I think I've been joking about this, but I kind of think we're in the Matrix. We're like an earlier version of the Matrix where people start to realize like you're in a simulation. Because you saw Dennis Rodman.
Oh my goodness.
Get like
Dennis Rodman. One of all the craziest people to be involved in any of this. Dennis Rodman.
Wearing a Make America Great Again hat, which I thought only racists wore those.
To be fair, Dennis Rodman exists outside of space and time. So
he's like
once.
Him and Prince, right? They're the guys outside.
So you know how they made Space Jam about Michael Jordan?
Yeah.
That's a true story, but it was really Dennis Rodman.
that makes sense.
Michael Jordan playing as Dennis Rodman.
Man, that would have been... Could you imagine a remake of that with Dennis Rodman? Like now?
Dennis Rodman.
Maggie, I said Reagan jelly beans when I was 5.
What?
I don't know. There's no context for the quote.
Like she sent him jelly beans? Yeah. Like she put them in the mail and
Yes.
sent them to the White House?
Mailed jelly beans in just a regular envelope. Was there a note included in that?
Why
no, because he loved jelly beans, right? Was that him or was that Nancy Reagan? No, he loved jelly beans.
Well, she said she sent them to him.
Yeah.
Not Nancy Reagan.
Yeah, well, I was trying to remember. I thought she liked him too, but no, yeah, Ronald loved jelly beans. That's right. So you guys are probably a little too young to remember this, but one of my favorite music videos.
Why do you keep saying that? You're just dating yourself.
I know.
Every time you do.
I'm 5 years older than you.
You old whippersnappers don't remember this, but back in my day.
So another great thing to come out of
where you're coming at
the Reagan.
I knew it.
The Reagan presidency was the music too. Like one of my all-time favorite music videos, "Land of Confusion" by Genesis. You've seen that video, right?
I thought that was Disturbed.
This is why you're no longer on camera. My gosh, guys.
Why are we talking about Genesis all of a sudden? We were talking about North
Korea.
We
were talking about North Korea.
Barely hit any of the topics you guys wanted to hit.
North Korea. So North Korea summit, good.
Yes, 2 thumbs up. Cautiously optimistic.
Cautiously optimistic. We did talk about the fairs. Please volunteer. Please come out to those.
Speaking of Trump derangement syndrome, anyone see Bill Maher hope for an economic crash so we can get rid of Donald Trump? That happened. Yeah, but apparently Bill Maher thinks that it would be better for the country to collapse into a depression rather than have Trump for another 2 years.
The same people that said you cannot root against Obama on anything.
Yes,
because how dare you root for the failure of this country?
Yeah, remember when Rush Limbaugh said that he wanted Obama to fail, and he wasn't even saying I want Obama to fail. He was saying I want Obama's policies to not succeed in passing.
Because he thought it would be bad.
Yeah, that's what he was. That's in the context of that show. That's what he was saying. And now Bill Maher is saying that he wants the country to go into a Great Depression. Remember what happened last time we had a Great Depression? Remember who rose into power in a certain country in Europe after that? All these people concerned about Nazis want the same exact conditions that led to the creation of the Nazis to exist again. Do you not understand history, Bill Maher? I know you're a smart guy. You're not stupid. He's not stupid. He says stupid things. Right. But everyone says stupid things. But that's an incredibly stupid thing to wish for a depression.
If you're on camera for as many years as he is, I mean, I'm sure I would say a hell of a lot of stupid things. And if you go back and listen to some of our earlier episodes, I know I've said stupid things. But
just out of being.
The best part about being the editor is that I can edit out my stupid things, but I leave his in.
Yeah, that's fine.
Zach
is way dumber than the episodes. You believe.
I would believe it.
So the one that springs to mind, because I'm kidding, but it's also a little bit true. When we were talking about the shooting at Stoneman Douglas, and I thought that was a poor neighborhood. And like later on, we were talking about it. And you're like, no, that's a fairly affluent area. I'm like, okay, well, let's just cut that entire conversation out.
Yeah, no, it's okay. Ben and I have actually had to cut out entire sections of our episodes before, when we just kind of get off on a random tangent and then realize, oh wait, we're talking about something completely incorrect. All right, let's chop that. A little behind the scenes there. We'll just chop that out, throw that to the cutting room floor so we don't sound dumb.
Editing is wonderful.
Yes, it is. But all right, so the North Korea thing. That's. I think we've kind of hit on that. Now, Nathan, I noticed this week, and I have to have a bit of an intervention with you. Okay? You're my district coordinator.
Oh no.
Why do you hate all women? What?
I can't help it, man. All right, so let's put a little context in this before you're all
no context.
No context. You just want to leave me hanging there. Okay, so I posted on my Facebook page an article titled "Why Can't We Hate Men?" Can you just go down so we can see who the author of this article is? By Suzanne Dante Walters. I think that's her name.
Oh, is this does this go on the video that you're showing?
No, I'm not that advanced yet. Hopefully soon I'll get OBS working, and that'll be something we can do.
We've got like a room full of monitors here, so I assumed that folks at home would see this.
Anyway,
that is on the plan. That is plans that I have.
A Washington Post opinion piece, which I'm surprised. How did you even find a Washington Post opinion piece? What were you doing reading the Washington Post?
It was Rachel. Rachel out in Tri-City shared it.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, she
did.
A
woman. Funny about that. So I posted this article to my Facebook page with a little bit about how I believe that feminism is all about providing misandrous moral cover to hate men, and it's a supremacist movement. As this article clearly demonstrates, this woman clearly is a female supremacist, and for this crime, I was called a sexist by a former candidate for chair of the Libertarian Party.
For the
Are you friends
LNC
with
chair.
her?
Okay.
No, I'm not. It was on Commie Cats for LNC page that this happened.
So this is something that now we had talked about this with Owen Benjamin a little bit about like third and fourth wave feminism, because I mean, look, when you're talking about
you scroll down that
equal rights, and I mean, no one's going to go again. We're not going against that. What this is, and I read what you're posting. Yeah, see if you can find a good quote here.
Yeah, this is the quote. This is from that article. It's what I took a special.
Okay, tell me a little bit about what.
All right, so the whole article is about why women are justified in hating men, why half the population is justified in just a blanket hatred of the other half. Which I don't know. I thought that was sexism. But apparently it's not when it's going the other way. So this lady, she goes, this is a quote from the article. Pretty much everywhere in the world, this is true. Women experience sexual violence, and the threat of violence permeates our choices big and small. Well, about half the victims of sexual violence are also men. So there is that.
Didn't Jim post a lot of good actual
stats?
Jim is red-pilled as
If you want to pull up, it was on Rachel's post. If you want to pull that up so we can read a little bit of Jim's reply, because Jim Schultz just really killed it. But I'll keep reading from this. In addition, male violence is not restricted to intimate partner attacks or sexual assault, but plagues us in the form of terrorism and mass violence. I don't know anyone ever claimed that violence was ever just restricted to intimate partner relationships. I don't know anyone that ever made that claim. But I'll give you that most violence is committed by men. I'll give you that. Yeah. Because men and women are fundamentally biologically different. And there are differences between men and women. And one of the differences are that males are more aggressive. That's the draw. Violence is the drawback of that. But you know what the upswing of that is? Mm-hmm. You ever go downtown and see those skyscrapers? Women didn't build those. Men built those. All the cities that exist around all the world, men built those. You know why? Because men are also more ambitious as a general rule. This is not to say that there are no ambitious women, but men in general are the ones that do these things.
Wait. So you're saying no women helped build those? I mean, you're saying like there were no women contractors, there were no women engineers, there were.
I'm saying that there were very few in relation to the number of.
Are you talking like those classic New York City skyline photos of like all the men eating their lunch on a steel I-beam like 50 stories above the ground?
There's a reason that men make up about 95 to 99% of workplace deaths. There's a reason for that. Is because whenever there's a dangerous job to be done, you will find that job is dominated by men.
How many men in the last, in the 19th and early 20th century had black lung compared to women from, coal mining jobs and all that other stuff?
And I mean, I work at a garbage company, right? And garbage collection is one of the most dangerous jobs in the country. And there's not a single female working as a driver. That's not because we discriminate against women. It's because when we post a job opening, there is never any women that want the job.
And I'm sure that any of them that were qualified would get the job over you because, especially if they're taller, they can see over the steering wheel, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Again, low bar to clear.
That is a very low bar to clear, as a matter of fact. All right, so this is a little bit from. You want to read this since I'm reading the.
Yeah. So.
This is from Jim Shaw.
So I will add one caveat in there. It was interesting to read this article and see that it was posted by Rachel and see you and her agreeing on a lot of this stuff, and then people trying to call both of you like all of these different names. So like I can maybe share it or comment on because it's like, oh no, Rachel is basically making it okay for me to come in and comment about certain things.
Rachel your shield?
That's the difference between you and Mike. Mike, you need somebody to lead you into it. I just jump right in and say, feminism is a supremacy movement.
Look, I've got to be pragmatic, and I've got to look at trying to be widely inclusive. But yeah, when there's something that is completely ridiculous, Jim, who came out and posted some amazing stats here, like. Just reading some of his responses to Rachel's one, it says, no one will point out that 80% of victims of violent crime are men and suggest that we don't need Violence Against Women Act. We need a Violence Against Men Act. He says, no one will point out how the Me Too movement was curiously timed to occur precisely as Corey Feldman was starting to get traction on his decades-long campaign against abuse of youth and boys in Hollywood. Now we can just tell him it's not time to talk about his problems. It's time to listen to women, as if that never happens.
Yeah, exactly. The freaking feminists will tell us all the time that we ignore them. The feminists have the freaking floor when it comes to this kind of issue. You will never hear in mainstream publications talking about the epidemic of male rapes that occur.
Male suicides.
And male suicides that occur and male deaths in the workplace that occur. We always want to talk about the wage gap, but don't want to talk about the death gap when it comes to work.
So here's a couple of other interesting things that Jim posted. He said that no one will mention that mothers alone or with others commit over twice as much child abuse as fathers. I want to see the stats on this. I've not seen them. You've seen okay, because
it's something that
I know Jim
has talked about it a lot.
Well, and I know Jim would look. Jim's worked in the world of corrections. Jim has done a lot of great research and a lot of great work. So I trust him when he puts this. I want to see what the numbers break down.
And so a lot of the things he's posting about violence, these are things that I learned in criminal justice when I was going through getting my degree. And so
yeah, and
I don't have my textbooks, but I've seen all these numbers.
No, and that's true because I did do some criminal justice. I actually did some developmental and social psychology stuff as well. And I was kind of like what was it, Pauly Shore and Son-in-Law. Like I changed my major every semester, but
I love that.
Getting back to
but I mean some of these, yeah. So another one says is no one will bother to question why the states receive matching funds for every dollar of child support collected, giving them a financial incentive to break up families and deny fathers equal access to their children. There are a lot of states, and Nebraska is one of them, where the system is really set up against the father, regardless of how good of a parent they are. They're not comparing actual active parents. The state really does seem to push in a lot of those courtroom settings, whenever there's a divorce, there's a split, child custody, things like that. The state will side with the mother or sometimes putting the child into a foster situation that is not conducive to them. Now, I've got friends that are foster parents, and they will even say that, unfortunately, that the system that they've got to work through is rather difficult. So this one, no one will question why the gender gap is in sentencing. Sorry. No one will question why the gender gap in sentencing is 6 times as large as the racial gap, yet we had a female presidential candidate who made reducing women in prison a central part of her platform. Women such as Donna Hilton, who kidnapped, tortured, and killed a man for 14 days. Let's
not read that part.
No, but I've seen that story. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, right. Donna Hilton.
You go back to the article, Jack.
Donna Hilton. That one. Yeah. Giving her a platform as being a great spokesman for women empowerment. Spokesperson. Listen, Trudeau. Don't censor my words.
Trudeau. All right, back to the article. We read on. Women are underrepresented in higher wage jobs, local and federal government, business, education, leadership, etc. I love how they never stop to ask themselves why this might be the case. Especially when it comes to government, because women make up the majority in this country. 51% of the United States is made up of women, and yet somehow men still dominate government. Maybe it's because a lot of women think that men can be representatives of them. Shocking, I know.
Well, Trump did get a surprising amount of women to vote for him.
He did.
Only the white women. So.
It's almost as though these people think that a representative of you can only represent you if they match your gender, your race, your height, if they're also right-handed like you are. Mm-hmm. So they have to be like identical to you in some arbitrary ways in order to be your representative. Like I'm Puerto Rican. But Gary Johnson would be a better representative of me than Marco Rubio.
Right. So it's like it's the same argument I saw with Austin Peterson. It's just like, well, he's agnostic. I could never vote. Like, look, I'm Christian. I would have no problem voting for an agnostic. I don't care if you're male, female. I don't care what your personal beliefs are. Do you want more liberty, and are you going to shrink government and make sure that it gets out of our lives more than it is? Then fine, I'll vote for you. I will only vote for the people that I know for a fact are going to shrink government, make what we absolutely have to have at this point more efficient. I don't care what your beliefs are. I don't care if you're wearing a kilt. I don't care if he's wearing a kilt.
I care if you're wearing a kilt.
I will vote.
It looks horrible.
No,
I'm kidding.
Quick question: where did you get that? Was that
ScottishKiltShop.com?
Oh, okay.
I thought it was. You can look right there. That's my target.
I thought it was from Damn Near Kiltum. That's the one I've been looking at.
So the basic argument, on the same vein, it goes, wage inequality continues to permeate every economy and almost every industry. Women continue to be provided for higher rates of unpaid labor in the home, e.g. child care, elder care. Go ahead.
No, 5 minutes.
So we'll wrap this up, I guess. But we've talked about this before. The wage gap is 100% a myth. It doesn't exist. There's no truth to it whatsoever.
When you compare a man and a woman in the same job side by side, the wage gap is a myth. Now, look.
Yeah, it doesn't exist.
Look, especially in the medical field, I know, a lot of amazing women nurses and doctors who are making a hell of a lot of money. In my roles over the last 7 years, I've actually had more female managers and senior managers than I've had male managers and senior managers. And you know what? In both corporate aspects, they have ample opportunity. Now, I will say that I was actually told at one corporation, not the one that I'm currently working at, but the previous one, I was actually told by many people, both male and female there, that they will promote a woman over a man.
No, they will, because they believe this wage cap nonsense, and they're trying to fix the problem that doesn't actually exist.
But the thing is this: look, we can only relate so much because we we mark the little M box, when we're filling out a census or whatever, even though, we shouldn't fill out censuses good for the government.
No, if I just identify as a woman, does that mean all of a sudden
But the thing is we can only identify with the women that we know or that we meet, be it family, be it friends, spouses, daughters, coworkers, whatever it is. And honestly, in talking with all of those in my circle, the current situation that they are in, the majority say that they have either the same or better opportunities, and that there's no pay difference. And I know people that have worked in HR and can confirm there's not a pay difference. You know what the pay difference falls on are those people that have been in a certain field for 20 plus years, and they're just, incrementally, those coming in, it's not a pay gap. The childcare thing, the elder care thing, as dads, I find this entirely sexist, because that's saying, well, dads aren't taking care of their elderly parents. Dads aren't doing child care, caring for disabled individuals, doing housework, all this other stuff. Are you trying to say that? And this is the whole father in the legal system thing too. They're trying to say like, oh, this is only a women's thing. And I thought gender was a social construct, so like any of us could fill in that role regardless.
That's the thing about it. I mean, first of all, yes, you're absolutely right. I gave my son a bath last night. Am I supposed to get paid for that? I did the dishes last night.
The labor theory of value says that, every time we've changed diapers, well, who's paying us?
Exactly. No, who's supposed to pay you for that anyway? You taking care of your own kid, apparently you need to be paid for. But we got to wrap this up. We've been talking, we've been rambling on for quite a bit.
We didn't even get in. I wanted to talk a bit more about local stuff too, man. We ramble.
We do tend to ramble a little bit. But let's wrap this up. Yeah. Remember to like us on Facebook, follow our Twitter feed. We're on YouTube and Minds as well. If you look us up on Minds, you might have to look us up under Libertarian Party in Nebraska, because we haven't gotten that fixed yet. Also, our website, roads2liberty.com. That's roads2liberty.com. You can hear all our podcast episodes on SoundCloud there, and also see our videos from YouTube. You can like us on any podcasting app, including iTunes and SoundCloud.
And remember in November to vote for Jim Schultz for Senate and for Laura Epke for state legislature. And
that's about it.
That's about it. You could write me in for whatever the hell you feel like, I guess.
I'm going to write you in for
dog catcher.
No, state treasurer.
Yeah.
I've still got some old stuff for it. So, all right. Thanks again, guys. We'll be bringing this stuff to you, I think, on a weekly basis, hopefully, right?
Yeah, hopefully.
Let's shoot for this time slot every week.
Cool.
Yeah.